Hey guys, hopefully you guys can see this. This is going to be probably my last session on this particular sculpture. I did add a little bit to the eye, so I have a more dramatic light on the 8. So I'm going to continue doing all the little details. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm trying to improve the stream. And I'm using Chavant clay, which works out pretty well. If there's something wrong with the stream, make sure to comment or something or get my attention, because I try not to talk as I am sculpting. So I'm going to get started. And I also have my computer over there on the left side, and I usually have reference. So I have reference of various chimps and stuff, and I have my light source here. I also have some overhead lights. Maybe in the future I'll do like a studio tour so you guys can see it. But I'm going to get started and finish this up. And also I need your help, because for the next session I would like to sculpt a new one. And I don't quite know what I'm going to be doing. You know, I did talk about doing a nude, and I bought clay for it, so I have that clay ready. It just I haven't been I guess motivated to do it. I've been doing these little ones, which, you know, in a way, I like these little tiny sculptures because they let you work smaller. And, you know, what the problems with sculptures that you have standing, you know, if you have like a sculpture, like you can't, all the sculpture takes up space, table space, you know, sculpture stands. So it's, in a way, nice to have sculptures that are reliefs. So let's get started. I am going to switch. And I'm probably not going to be talking. If you guys need something, just get my attention. So the ape here, we're going to start through this, and we're going to go into some of my favorite tools here. These little metal tools are great. So I'm going to dig that eye in there. And also with the pupil, you can kind of design a little section that will catch the light. And there's a lot of styles of doing eyes. You can just make it one solid shape. I'm not sure. I like the form more than anything else. So this part, which is the lacrima, put it there. It has one, it's like a human. And then there's quite a bit of wrinkles and stuff. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that this yet. So let's go ahead, and I have the globe for the eye. And what I like to do is, like, I'll take like a flat tool, I'll put like a little bit of clay, and then I'll push it and I'll shape it, because, you know, these things are so small. You're working so small at this point. You want to make sure that because like my fingers, I can't get in there. So let's get that lid, and don't put the lid like I'm doing right now, like this. I do this in the beginning, but you actually kind of need to scoop it up and create a distinction between the upper lid and the globe of the eye. And the lid's going to be fatter towards the middle or towards the part where he's looking at, because if he moves his eye to this way, it's going to be a little bit fatter here. So you want to make sure if it's centered, that fatness of the lid is going to be a little bit fuller towards the middle. Excuse me. I'm having issues with my throat here, but I'll still be able to explain what I'm doing. So I want to just make sure that I get this globe, and then this part is it stands out a little bit too much. So we're going to have to remove a little bit here and make sure it's the same, like this. Kind of the good thing about this is that you can kind of push it. And I like to keep things a little bit flatter. I don't like to round things off too much. And I actually even like the textures of the tools. It gives it a more human quality, I think. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I put some classical music in the background. Don't know if that's coming through because I don't hear it. I would like to hear it, actually, but it's just a loop. I had Monkey Island before, and apparently there's a copyright on it. So I'm going to take my fatness here. The upper lid needs to be a little bit fatter. But dig it into the skull a little bit. I think a lot of people will just leave it hanging. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. So keep it simple. See, like I'm not complicating it. I'm actually making edges. So lower one is right here. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm like clearing my throat a lot, but I'm having some issues here. You guys been paying attention to Venezuela? I have no idea why and whatever. So if you guys know, there's a lot of theories. Most people think it's about gas. Excuse me. And I'm going to take this and just kind of scoop it like that. And, I've been getting a lot of I assume they're Brazilian subscribers. I don't know if I told you guys, I am Portuguese. I speak Portuguese. I was thinking about maybe doing some of these videos in Portuguese. I speak Spanish too. But there's like a huge amount of subscribers from Brazil. And, I looked up Brazil. I would love to go to Brazil. I've never been. And there's some really nice artists out there. I don't know what they're putting in the water, but there's like some really amazing artists. I would love in this new year to meet up some artists and get more inspired. That's one thing. The reason I haven't been doing a lot of videos is that I've been uninspired and I've been trying to make money. And so that kind of, excuse me, kind of defeats the purpose of sculpting because you don't make very much money. At least I don't. But I would love to make this my full-time job. Let's get, like the lid too. It needs lower, but it needs more distinction to do this. If you're in the DC area, post up as well. I don't know if I will be teaching a class, but I did apply to teach one class. in a place called Norton Workhouse in Norton, and it's a renovated jail. That's more like an art center. Hmm, that'd be kind of cool, but I haven't heard from them. That's okay. Another thing that's a good technique for oil-based clay is that you probably want to have some alcohol or paint thinners because you can use that to smooth various things and kind of diffuse them. But the technique I like is just using a paint or a heat gun like this. It just takes a little bit of time, and just by doing this, it kind of diffuses and you see it like melt. You don't want to do it too much, but in a way, things get stiff when you're sculpting. When you're sculpting like oil clay, so you want to keep things a little bit like livelier, and I think if you heat it up, it does do that. Now, if you put it on the screen, you see that? Like it's a big difference. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with oil. One thing you can't do with water clay that you can in oil clay, you can take ice or even put this in the freezer. So even if your clay is soft like mine and you want to be able to work in a little stiffer way, you can put it in the freezer and just kind of like as soon as you get it out, it's basically carbon. So I have not tried that with water clay. I don't think it would work well, but it's an interesting way to go about it. So at this point, when you have something like this, you don't have to use a lot of clay, and you can see like it's starting to take shape. Now at this point, like you can do a lot of details and stuff, and it's up to you how much detail you want. For me, I just I look at sculptures more like geometry. I like look for facets, and I like to create these facets, like these flat shapes. I think one of the things I don't particularly like about modern sculpture is that it's too smooth, too round. But the tools that you use will help you create a less smooth sculpture. I don't know. With 3D sculptures and 3D stuff, like, I'm trying to make it more organic, more lively. And just using different materials, different tools helps out quite a bit. So I think I might have to make the nose a little bit bigger. So at this point, it's too difficult to take like a little bit piece of clay. So what I like to do in this, I'll take a little clay like this, and if I want to increase the nostril, I'll just take that and I will push it down and I'll create the shape of it. Tuesday's not a good time to stream, I know, guys. A lot of people are at work. It's so hopefully you guys can. I think I might start doing like a Friday night stream. In a way, it kind of competes with my boy Angry D. And I was actually thinking, Angry D is a YouTube subscriber and YouTuber. He's got a lot. He's got a big following. And I was thinking, maybe I should do like a sculpture of that guy. He's got a very unique face, and I like that he's bald because I don't have to waste clay on hair. Hair is so difficult. And I think this comes out. This is too big. Has to be a little bit. See, that's the beauty of like these sharp tools. You do not use these tools for watercolor. Well, I guess you can, and for details, but these are better for this. I gotta figure out a way to kind of present this so it doesn't mess up. I'm kind of holding just a board. If I'm doing this on my own without a camera, I'm basically like rotating it much more, but I'm trying to keep it level for you guys to see. Let me check the stream, make sure everything's working. I think we are still streaming. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to do this until I finish. Yeah, Juan Pacheco has subscribed. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Love getting new subscribers. I'd like to hit 30,000 subscribers. Can you guys see this? Some sort of sound. Let me just show. Yeah, sorry if I do something. So, and make sure that everything is on camera. Let's see what's going on here. See, the best thing, if I had like a way to rotate this, I should be able to. That'd be so good. I think I'm gonna get a laser, Susan, because I'm not using that strong. I actually like sculpting in the table if I'm doing oil clay, but if I'm doing water clay that's like bigger, yeah, I want to be on my sculpture stand. All right, let's keep going. Enough distractions, guys. So if I really like rotate it this way, you'll start to see like the impression. There we go. See, it's starting to take shape. You know, I might actually do like a human skull relief, because that would be very useful for artists to have the human skull hanging on the wall. I think I might do that. The skulls are so cool, especially if you do like all the details, the sutures and everything. Ooh, so nice. Excuse me. I'm going to reference. I'm going to sculpt the side here. I'm going to move my little oil clay. And I'm trying to see what it means here. Get the tool. This is a good tool. So the nostril on these guys, this is actually more of a human nose, but you want to push this part up. Okay. This down. So you see, at this point I'm making like little moves, but I'm trying to create more of a realistic depiction. This is a plane right here. Look for planes, not airplanes, but planes of the face. So let's go into the eyes here, because the eyes are the window of the soul. The lower lid goes underneath the upper lid, and this part actually kind of pops out more. And then take your tool, kind of dig into the eye. You know, you don't have to do it too much, but if you just leave it right up against that edge, it's going to look weird. With this light, it might look weird, but so it'll look like it's actually starting to look more of a resemblance that I want. So, you know, also, you know, these whip tools that I have, they're not that good for this type of clay. The metal tools are better, but the metal tools, there's something like strange about them, you know, like they're mechanical. You know, the wood just feels so good in your hands. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to create this here. Slide my hand, and I just take a little chunks here and add it where it needs to range. I'm going to create the there's a line that goes here, which is really just a plain difference. So if I turn it this way, instead of making a line, I think one of the issues that you find with sculpting is that you draw a line, and that's really just drawing. And you don't want to keep that line. You want to pay some here, and create the edges. Don't think of it as a line. So then I'll take this and ask yourself which is higher up. And you gotta keep it one uniform thing. Just really look at the head and see the needle. So this part is a little bit higher up. It creates just the separation between the orbicularis oris, which is the lip muscles here, and the zygomatic and the muscles that pull the face back. The risorium, for example, that's the laughing muscle. That's what they call it. So right about here, that's depression. They have a whole lot more. So that depression, and you probably, if you were to see this monkey, this ape, in person, you would see this much more. And then you have, don't get distracted about all the detail. You want to just go slow, happy little wrinkles. But don't sculpt the wrinkles. You see, I'm like just adding and removing. You want to be more in the habit of adding instead of removing. Removing takes a whole lot more space or time. Excuse me. You can blend things just by doing this. And remember, once we do this, it's going to lose that texture quickly. And it just blends it. Don't have to do it too much. So this part, he actually has this mouth shut, so I'm going to just add a little bit more here. Draw in those lines in the beginning, but don't leave lines. That makes sense. And then just go like this. Let me check the stream. I think I got to get another monitor just so I can like go back and forth. So. We're still running. We don't have any subs or anything, but that's okay. Nice. Yeah, this needs to be just a little bit more. It's too flat there. I'll put this in the freezer later. This is a little bit rounder. When I was looking at the anatomy of these apes, there's actually like, they almost have like lips, but they're, well, they do have lips, but it's a little bit more pronounced. And it's hard to see in photos. The best way is really just to go to the zoo and like look at these guys. And my ears, I think a little bit too wide there. I'm gonna remove a little chunk here. And now with the ear. See, I jump back and forth. You know, ideally, you should jump back and forth while you're doing sculpture, because your eyes kind of get tired of working in one single space, and you want to kind of move around so they don't get tired. So right in here, there's going to be more of a depression here. And this part, well, it's actually too much. So I'm going to add a little bit more clay here. Make this ridge. I do plan on making 3D versions of this. It's not my first chimp. I don't know if you guys recall, if you're familiar to the YouTube channel, but I actually sculpted a chimp holding a skull It's a very popular motif, but I think it came out well. I sold a few of them. I did make 3D versions, and I think I made it for free, but I'm glad some people bought it. I thought my Beavis and Butthead would make me rich. The relief. Nope. I still sold a few of them. I have to like send one to Angry D in Texas. So another tool that you should be using are these wire tools. They're really good to kind of get rid of the lumpy geometry. They do leave a texture behind, but on camera, I don't know if you can see it. So right here, it's going to be a little bit of an edge. You know, a lot of times when I'm sculpting, I'll do force myself to stay in one area. So the ears, whatever. So get in here. So I got to hold it. The clay works well here. So it's a little bit. We also have to sculpt the back. So if I was to scan this, for example, I can choose to maybe like even cut it here. You know, there's a lot of flexibility with the 3D scanning and printing. I really like it. You know, I don't know why people don't embrace it. So the ear, as it goes into the side, there's actually a little bit more of the fleshy area here and wrinkles. And these wrinkles add a lot of character. And they come all the way here. See, I'm adding clay. Just hopefully you guys can see. Like, it's hard to show. You know, I thought about perhaps people wouldn't like the streaming, but you know, it is the everything, you know, warts and all the mistakes, the corrections. So in a way, when I was first starting to sculpt, I wish I had somebody that would do this. Because I think you get so much better if you just have somebody that like does it in front of you and you like look at it. But I met a lot of artists that guard the mistakes, you know, because I think they want to show a perfect sculpture, you know, like the process to them is almost like hidden. For me, you know, I do make tons of mistakes. There's been sculptures I've done in the past and people are like, hey, the head is too big. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. That's because, you know, when you're sculpting on something, your eyes get tired. Like a lot of times you don't see the mistakes until it's too late. And the best thing is like, force yourself to keep doing it. Force yourself. You know, one of the things that happens when I'm like sculpting is like, you know, what if I sculpted a zombie? You know, I'm doing this. It's like, the grass is always green on the other side. But one of the things I've learned is that stick to it. Just keep doing it. You could also use a brush to diffuse various things. There's one wrinkle, then there's another wrinkle. There's a lot of stuff, but I don't want to add too many details. Let's do the more important ones. This kind of shows the character a little bit. You know, it shows the anatomy. And it goes towards the back here, but you can't see it. So I'm just going to continue that wrinkle towards the back. Add a little bit. Too much detail back there. This is meant to be on the wall. Right there. I think I'm gonna have to put a little bit here. I want to kind of, yeah, you see how much I'm removing. Don't be afraid to correct all your mistakes. Hopefully you guys can hear my audio and renew my setup. Yeah, I'm like looking at the camera now, or the feed, and Yeah, it is a little bit odd. So that's the ear. Let's look at this one, this side. Yeah, look at that. So, best thing about oil clay, you take this and you just start, you turn it upside down. It's easy to work on. And all of this you can reuse. A lot of people love this stuff. And I do. I like the clay, you know. Problem is, I mix clay, and that's a big mistake. Try to keep your clay consistent because you're going to use this clay for years. And this stuff is not cheap. You know, oil-based clay is a whole lot more expensive than water clay. I bought 2 boxes of water clay. That's what, 100 pounds. That's 100 pounds of clay, and it costs $70. The price has gone up for water clay, but it's so much cheaper. And you have to remember that if you wanted to find your own clay, you can just dig a hole or go to like a creek bed or something and find your own clay. It's that simple. Look at this. It's awesome sculpting like this. Just turn it upside down. You really get the... I just gotta figure out a better way to hold this. So I'm using just a piece of tape like that. But if you keep it like this, it's like you see the geometry from all sorts of... If, depending on where you install this in your house, you know, it's like meant to be on a wall. But if you install it a little bit higher up than eye level, then you have the chin to kind of deal with. So you always want to add detail everywhere, but there's always like an area in the sculpture that's like the winning area. You know, sometimes I look at sculptures and go, oh yeah, that part looks great from there. It's, you know, in humans, when I do the figures, front and rear always look good, but I hate the profiles of like the human body. It's so thin. You know, it's thin for a reason. It's less of a target. Fighting. This is what they teach you in karate. Sideways. You're less of a target. To the right. It's, monkey. It's not a monkey before, because it's a monkey. When it comes to tools, I think I've made quite a few videos on tools. I don't know if you questions on tools. I think I'm gonna make some more simple geometric shapes here. So we have the lid, lower lid here. This part connected a little bit closer to the upper lid. Can you guys hear me? So, and then there's this part, which is really the zygomatic bone. But I want to be able to make a little bit of a sharper edge. I gotta get a better tool. Go to the dentist, get their tools. Can you guys hear the music? Let me check my my thing online. Yeah, I kind of wanted to have you guys listen to the music. Let me check. I have my phone here and I'm just checking the feed. Keep in mind, I am not a professional streamer. I'm trying to see the feed. See this? Are we live? I have no idea. I have no idea. How do I find out? Alright, let me struggle with this for a second. I'm just trying to look at my own channel. I have no idea. It doesn't say live. Sorry, guys. If I am not getting something. If I'm not live, I'm sorry. But I'll keep recording anyway. Anyways. Mistakes were made. Looks too human from that side. I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't want it to be human kind of weird style. This is a little bit too long. Now, looking at this part is actually looking at the super cute chimp right now. Hollow here. Take this. Remember, if you melt it, it kind of blends together. You don't have to. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the pupil of the iris a little bit bigger and deeper. So I'm looking at the lid, and then we're gonna have to add just a little bit. It's like a piece of skin here, like that. Now this is gonna be a little difficult because you want to show the lid, but you also want to show that very distinct fold. And that actually creates a little bit of a cuteness thing. You know, it's as if like it's kind of looking up. And this, a little bit more clean now, it's right in the middle. The ridge. I don't know if I want to add a hair. Maybe you guys can. Should I give it the tongue out? I'm looking at the. That's cute. It's a cute monkey. sadder looking, but that's okay. I actually prefer it. I don't want it to be too aggressive. So this. Another thing people do is like they get color confused. I'm one of those. Luckily, I'm half colorblind. It helps. So I think this part needs to come down a bit like this. Actually, look at the shape here. This part needs to go up too. So I'm gonna get just a little bit more. Profile is so important. You know, a lot of times when you find like reference, none of those are profile. So you really have to dig for a reference. Like a profile, three-quarter profile, I wish there was like a top down. Very difficult to find that stuff. And also, you know, the ears are different. Like here, if I take this, just gonna push it up, that's gonna be a little bit more accurate. When you're working with a model, the model's constantly moving, and that's actually good. But with 2D reference, yeah, so this part is actually higher up. I'm gonna add more, even though I put like stuff there. This part has to be higher than the nose. And then, yeah, the lip. So lower lip stands out more, so I'm gonna add more clay. And I'm gonna keep the mouth shut. I was thinking about like putting the tongue out, it'd be kind of cute, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. So lower lip comes out more. So now I'm going to take, here's my tools. This one, no, it's not this one. I can use this. Yeah, that is kind of small. I can't ever find the stuff I need. Oh well, I guess I'll just use this one. Just blend it. It's like a, this is like a round scoop, which you can use for the eyes as well if you want to create a perfect sphere. It's the same size. But I use it mostly for blending things together. And then just by doing this with your finger, you kind of diffuse it. And this lower lip is blended. If you're an artist, post up what your plans are for this coming year. New Year resolution you'll never keep. Fit. You get the body, it's such a smart. So I'm going to take my scraping tool. Get this. Let me look at the reference here. I'm trying to get like a top view. It's so difficult to find a top view on Google. Where do you get a top view? It's so crazy. So, a couple of things on chimps, but you know, this is a younger chimp, so it's not going to have it, or at least not as distinct. It's not it's not a cylinder like this, not like a human. There's going to be a ridge here, and I'm going to emphasize it just because once that translates to the geometry, if I choose to put hair, it'll be a whole lot better. Come on, hold on, buddy. Is this changing? No. I have to be careful. I'm putting this just so it holds. I actually made a mistake in the beginning. I should have put like aluminum foil underneath. So I'm just going to create that ridge. I'm going to take my little blender, and I actually like the marks that it creates. So once the ape is bigger, this ridge gets bigger. But you know, it's even on a young ape, that's going to be there. And you see I'm putting the clay down, and I'm like just kind of moving it around like this. I don't want to make it robotic, you know. I want it so it looks just a little bit more made with a human touch sort of style. Let's get this part of the ear. Now I'm like looking for various things because you know the ear kind of curls, and this kind of, you know, my studio is very cold, so it's brittle. And the best thing, you know, about the clay, I can take one of my slicing tools, heat it up, and just kind of slice that ear off. Let's get some wrinkles going down here. So I'll just do that. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know if I'm mumbling. If I am, excuse me. Probably gonna take a bathroom break in a little bit. Okay. Camera on autofocus. Let me check. Sorry, it's gonna move. Yeah, it is autofocus. Let me see. Yeah, it is. I was wondering if it was in focus, but it is. You can actually see my tools here. One of the things that's nice, you can make these your own without a guitar strings to create a texture, but on camera, and even like when it's 3D printed, you can't see them. It's like looking at it. I like this. Lean back a bit. This is a pretty nice one. There's an old version. It's pretty decent to hold this camera. That roundness helps, and then the other side, there's always a. These are handmade. This particular one, it's good blended an area like this. And you want to make tools for the size that you mostly sculpt. So I don't keep this texture. They're guitar strings, so I don't know if you guys know, but a guitar is like a wire, then it's got like more wires around it. That helps to kind of diffuse things. And you can just pick up the different gauges at Guitar Center, I believe that's the name. Any music shop. I'm actually friends with a musician, and then you got like the broken guitars, strings, and that's what you want. You don't want the entire thing. It's basically throwing away stuff for them. You can make unlimited tools. Let me get this. It's getting cold up in here. Let me move this. Yeah, I'm in the DC area, and it's very cold. Very cold here. So hopefully you guys can. Yeah, I'm like standing back, looking at that chimp, seeing what I could do. I could give it an expression, but sometimes simple is better. I do plan on finishing this one today, and then scanning it, and then making a 3D print of it. It doesn't have to be this size, sure. I mean, this is 4 inches, so when it's 4 inches, and I turn this off, look at that. The lighting helps to see things. It's important, it's like coloring for sculptors. Okay, this little thing, very useful. It's yeah, I'm like in another screen. What I have is that reference program that a lot of artists use, and I basically just use that. I put all my images together, and then I would just simply move the references around like I would do with a model that was in front of me. I really enough to have a model. So I don't know, I think I'm gonna try and give him like a cute smile. Maybe? I don't know. This part. So that means that this part would be like this. Maybe just a little bit more. I think with the wood, up. Smiley, and then take this, because this layer, so to create a little bit of smile, I have to changed quite a bit. I'm not even sure if it's worth it. So let me do it. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about where to put the camera. I guess you guys need an overhead shot, but those are difficult to get. So basically, we're gonna get my head in the shot while I do this. Some parts I'll lean back. So lower lip needs to be just a little bit further out. And also, I'm like looking at a decent reference here. This part goes here because I think their teeth is like further up. And I'm gonna draw in this part. It goes all the way down. And it goes around here. And then this part goes that way. That means that that goes in. So now I'm just going to scoop this because I want like that distinction. And also, I believe this entire lower jaw needs to be just a little bit bigger. I'm going to leave my mic here. I'm going to go just a short break, 2 minutes. I'll be right back. And we'll continue the stream and finish this monkey. All right, let's take a 5-minute break. And we're back. Let's get back into this chimp. I want to take maybe 2 wrinkles, and that's all I'm going to do here. And I'll just make these little rolls. And then put one here. That's going to give me enough meat there in order to create the geometry. Right in there. Now I'm going to take my flat edge and I'll just create that. I think the eyes need to be bigger. Yeah. Let's see if I can get my, I have some paint here somewhere. Yes, rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol actually works for smoothing things out in a little container. container. I admire the best way of researching is like using letters. What I just gonna fit little alcohol in there. Too much. So you see, it's kind of diffusing here. The measurements here at puts the lid up. Then I'm going to take a little bit more to build the eye out. Look at that, doesn't stick too well with the alcohol in there. If I was to make it with hair, I would just start putting it here. I'm just gonna build it this way. But it looks a little bit different, I guess, because the hair hides the geometry. So for me, it's more important to have the geometry first. Hair will be last. So I'm going to need more clay for this. So the hair is going to stem from here going down. So I need a little bit more hair, but you don't want to add too much. You can take this and kind of create flatten style to it, which I like. Go these little strings from this, and now, so even the hair here is going to hide a little of the ear, which is in a way good. And there's more hair towards the outside here, so I'm gonna Oh, there's somebody here. Hey, Angry D. How's it going? Yeah, I talked about you and the channel today, Angry D. I was like, maybe I should do a sculpture of Angry D or something really kind of cool. Amanda Hans Hodge, I'm not going to say why. I know you were working with oil-based clay. How do you find the oil-based clay? Never know. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You know, oil clay, it's very robotic. It changes your work. If you want to be virtuoso, I guess, or like quick, it's hard to do it. I find it harder. I love oil-based clay. I love how it feels, and there's a lot of great things about oil-based clay. You can keep it out. You know, I just leave this out on the table. You know, you can rotate it around. You can cut things. So if I want to work on the ears, I just like slice the ears. And you really can't do that with water clay. You know, with water clay, you have to build it all in one unit, ideally. So it makes it harder. And also with water-based clay, you also get your studio much dirtier. This sticks everywhere. So it gets into carpet, it kind of stays there. But with water-based clay, you get particles of clay kind of floating around. And you can be breathing it, so that's not a good thing. But I do like it. This particular one's called Chavant, and it's pretty decent. It's a decent clay, but my favorite really is the monster clay, but it's just so expensive. Everything about oil-based clay is expensive. So if I wanted to make a mold of this, uh, it's just so. Oh, music is far too loud to hear you. Let me check. Let me check. Now how it. Yeah, sorry. Let me see if I can. Yeah, sorry about this. Is the music playing? Yeah, so hopefully the music is not playing anymore. This looks a little bit different than. Okay, so I don't know. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, oil-based clay, definitely a pretty cool clay to use. I like how clean it is. It is easy to work with. You can work on it like for. Oh, okay. Oops. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I gotta get better at this. Yeah, I gotta get better at like doing the streams and having all the audio and stuff. I'll work on it for the next one. I was thinking about sculpting Angry D. He's on the channel. He's a very famous motorcycle vlogger. It'd be kind of cool. Actually, I wanted to do one of the girls he talks about, Vaselina. Yeah, so let me go over that oil clay thing again. So most of the time, I do work with just water clay, and water clay to me is the really the best type of clay. It has all the flexibility that oil clay has. And so when it comes to pros, the water clay is cheap. You're talking about $75 and about 100 pounds worth of clay. Once you sculpt, ugh, once you sculpt something in water clay, you can make a permanent version of it. You can sculpt it. You can fire it and you get a permanent one. It's the most beautiful type of sculpting. You get one copy, and it's the copy, the only one that the artist actually touches. With oil clay, and I do like it, um, in a oil clay with this, traditionally, if I wanted to make a copy of this, I would have to make a mold of it. You would have to get the urethane, the silicone, whatever. And then you have to create that, and then you create a mother mold. And unfortunately, that's very expensive. And not a lot of people have that money, including me. I would love to do more mold making out of this because you retain all the details. But the problem is just not attainable for most people. So what I do is I got a 3D scanner and it's not that expensive anymore. I think 300, $400 can get you the cheap one like I have. And then you can scan it and afterwards you can print it. And the technology is getting better and better as we move. I think Kickstarter also has several 3D scanners. So I have a Creality Lizard scanner, the cheapest. And after I scan it, I'm able to make a 3D print. And you can really up it. So, for example, if I wanted to take this, 3D scan it, print it, I can print it tiny. Let me show you really quick my one of the ones I have. So you can see like, and I think if you know some of the sculptures I've created over the years, you'll see that I sculpted this much larger, this little lion. And I sculpted it. It was actually the same size as this. And then I scaled it down. All you do is type 50% and boom, it's much smaller. And I actually made this for a keystone for a house. So I got paid to do this. And then I made several like little 3D things like this. This is white and I just painted it so it looks a little bit different. I just don't know why sculptors don't do this more. I know that it's missing some of the details that the original has, and I did make a mold of that one, and I made several copies. But the power of 3D sculpting is incredible. Like I think every artist should be using that because it's just going to get better. And unfortunately, that's the way it's going to go. Like here's a Mars Attacks, and I just creep, it's white, so it's the cheapest, and I made just this version, and I sell them. People do buy them. Here is a unpainted version of Hellboy. So that's my plan. Scan this, make it small, sell a few of these. To me, that's like the best way to go about it. And oil clay is great. It doesn't get your studio dirty like water clay. With water clay, you have to be careful because it's clay. It's red oxide. It's got things you don't want to be breathing in. So the more you work on it, and also get your hand cold. In my studio, I have a little oil heater and it gets cold. And if you're touching water-based clay, your hands are getting cold, your entire body's getting cold. So oil-based clay feels good, but it's got that stickiness to it, and it's hard to clean your hands afterwards. And yeah, you have to make a mold. Too expensive. Um, yes, it's so expensive. Yeah, I saw the crochet that I want. Yeah, that crochet, I scanned it and I put it up. I actually have a full-size version of it, and it's good for reference. And I think I'm probably going to do a little bit more reference stuff and put it up. Just know that there's a super long detail because I'm far away. Oh yeah, where are you located, Hans? Yeah, I really like the 3D printing stuff. I actually just fixed my 3D printer because it was acting up on me. And I have a cheap one. I don't have an expensive one, but I did I remember when I first started the sculpting, I took a sculpture class and it was oil-based clay. I went to the class, I did this nice work that I put a lot of time into it, and then afterwards I'm like to the teacher, so how do we like get the permanent version of this? And yeah, you have to make a mold. Then I went to a foundry. I'm like, this is too expensive. I'm just a student. I can't afford thousands of dollars to make one copy. And I don't know. That's why water clay, it's so approachable. You basically get clay anywhere. And I have people in the channel asking, where do I get clay? My area doesn't have clay. Correction. You have clay right underneath you. It's everywhere. So go to a creek bed and find it yourself. It takes a lot of work to get it perfect, but it's abundant, and that's the great thing about it. I had the guy from I think the Philippines ask about that. I mean, the Philippines have to have clay. So just in case you're watching, this is probably going to be the final day I work on this. I'm probably going to give a little bit more work off camera, but I'm I'm trying to do more of these. I don't want to take too much time and spend too much time on them just because I want to turn out a few more. It's like I get too slow. And I think people in the YouTube channel, they want to see different stuff. You know, if I'm working on a larger water-based clay that I'll sell, I'll put tons of time into it and I love it. I love doing details and stuff. But the oil-based clay is great. And let me show you something really quick, Hans. Oh, South Africa. Oh, that's so cool. I hate when the clay starts to dry and crumbles. It is worse than nails. Yeah, for water clay. Yeah, you have to keep it nice and wet if you want to keep working on it. But you know, I think a lot of people don't understand that because when I do the YouTube channel videos with water clay, I don't often show the putting it away and then taking it out. But yeah, you have to cover it really well, keep it wet. But I've done sculptures for months and it's fine. But water clay lends itself well to quick type of sculpting. Oil clay, I mean, you can just leave this. But the most beautiful thing about clay is really that flexibility that water clay has. I can take a paintbrush like this and dab it in water and just leave brush strokes along my sculpture and it stays there. You see every single brush stroke. And with this, the downside of creating a 3D version is that you lose all the brush strokes and you see the robotic little needle of a 3D print. Can you see that? Focus. Oh, why isn't this? Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, the dry clay. You know, a lot of times with if you're using water-based clay and you get it too wet, it stays in your fingers. The key is to kind of modulate the water clay so it's not too wet. I'm still learning that. Hmm. Um, I have another clay here that I've been playing around with. Let me show you. And this is a polymer clay. And I was just kind of messing around with it. It feels very different, feels weird, and it's horribly expensive. So I was doing like a little garden gnome as practice. I know it looks terrible, but that sort of clay feels spongy, like a marshmallow. There's actually like a fluidness compared to that polymer clay. And I look online and it's like people really love the polymer clay, but I just don't know how they can afford it. Let me show you. It comes in like little tiny bags. This is the clay that I got. It's OP. Yeah, so this is premium oven baked clay. I think that's what it is. Yeah. And I think for this particular thing, it's just so expensive. For some reason, I tore that out, but super expensive. And I think that's why, you can make a permanent sculpture out of this. But what you have to do is like put a lot of aluminum foil underneath and not use a lot of it. So just kind of keep it on the surface. Let's see. Yeah, with a gnome, I really wanted to create a large garden gnome, something unique. But I was just with that clay, it feels so strange that I kind of just gave up on it. I did do a couple, and I think my goal uh, with these live sculptures will be more practice. Also, another type of sculpture material that I love is wood. I've been doing a lot of stuff with wood, mainly doing tools, sculpture tools, like these. And I'm really loving wood. It's just so rigid, but it's crazy like how it takes so much time. Like you really start to admire artists that have carved marble when you start to do things in wood. This zygomatic. I'm just gonna bring the hair forward like this. The hair just kind of goes from one spot to the other, but here kind of hides a little. I think one of the things I like to do is just keep things. I think the more I learn about sculpting, the more I like try and create things and keep it like simple. I think one of the things I really like is when you take a sculpture and you create a section that's more realistic, say, like around here, but then you trail it off towards the edges and it's more abstract, more simple. I like that a lot. And you see that in academic uh, sculpture. You'll see artists that sculpt or draw the face really well. And then as they go down the body, it's like they start to lose the detail. And then when you get to the actual foot, it's just a line. But we see it and we feel the entire, it's kind of like reading a book. Our mind fills in the missing parts. So that's my thought with sculpture as well. And the more I learn, the more I try and do it. Hair is very difficult to do. You see, like it's all simple. I'm just taking my clay and then putting it like this, but I'm not trying to create hair. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Wood clay is very forgiving. So with marble, for example, and it's even marbles fixable. For example, with wood clay, if you chop off too much, you could always add it by removing a large section and then taking wood and just like gluing it on top. So that's that's why it's kind of a cool medium, and you don't see a lot of people working on it, but it is awesome. It just requires a lot of time. So if you make a mistake with that type of wood, you need a part or something cracked, you could always fill it in. I didn't know that until I started doing things with wood. So this particular tool has got a little serrated edge. I actually took a spoke from a bicycle wheel and I made this. And then I used the Dremel to create some serrated edges, and the other side doesn't have it. And the key is that, it's not about the actual pattern. It's more about it doesn't dig in as much. So if it was flatter, it would dig into the clay too much. So here's one thing I want to do. I want to create the texture of the hair, not texture, but this shape. I want to kind of where those sections end. I want to be able to just add a little clay like that. And yeah, my voice is kind of rough because I don't know. I'm having like these weird issues with my throat. Plus, I got hit by a truck. I can't help it. All right, so there's that. So I want to create these edges. I kind of wish I had a larger tool for this. Just that. And then as it gets to the top, I want to thin it out So these apes here, you can see the skin, and then up here you have more hair, and it gets fuller towards the edges here. So it gets kind of like fuzzy, and then just kind of blend it into the skin here. It's interesting seeing it on the screen itself. So this part, you can see I haven't been working on it. The shiny part is actually the heat gun. And with the heat gun, it's actually quite a kind of nice to have, but yeah, I got to find a better way to hold these sculptures. An easel would be ideal for this. So working on a table is not as good, but you can do this. And then I'll work a little bit on the ear, get it a little bit nice. And also, don't forget to sculpt the back of the ear. So for this, I'm actually not even looking at that because it's not needed. The hair is more a pattern of start and stops, origin, and I guess destination. Yeah, the truck is actually pretty good. I I did more damage to my scooter. Yeah, I would like to do more wood sculpting, but I have one thing here. The problem I think for me with wood sculpture is that it takes. I'm not quite sure how to get the best wood, and if you get green wood, which is nice to carve, it takes if green wood, it's wet, so it's easy to carve. But then as it dries, it starts cracking. So I'm trying to figure out how to get wood that won't crack on me. And if I keep if because the worst thing is like when you go from day to day, you're working on your wood sculpture, and then you come, it's like there's a crack down the head. I wish that wasn't the case, but I think you have to find kiln dried wood or dry the wood yourself. But there's so much to it. So this is the part I want to get in here. Also, I need the hair here. We'll just create some this is a good tool. Just keep it. I want to keep it faceted. Yeah, like doing these streams they're motivating me to keep doing sculptures. For a time, I didn't do any sculptures because I was doing odd jobs here and there. I don't make much from the YouTube channel, just by the way. 30,000 subscribers. Like, uh, you would find it funny to know how much money I make. There's like guys on YouTube that make tons of money. I'm not one of them. If I get this class going at the Lorton Workhouse, I might stream it, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do streaming with a nude model, and I think I need to get permission from the school and the model. I don't know how it works, but the classes are expensive. I think it's like $500 to take the class. But I went touring the Lorton Workhouse. Really cool area. It's a renovated jail. That's just arts. It's like ceramics, drawing, painting. So when you Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I wasn't sure. Like, when I first started the channel, there was like nobody that even like looked at the videos. I'm actually pleased that these streams get like 50 views. I'm actually pleased. That's 50 people that are interested. But when I first started the channel, there was like nobody. You put something up and nothing. Nobody would watch it. And I started to get more YouTubers subscribers when there was a couple of videos that I did, and one of them got 500,000 views. And then that's really the reason. So people are in it to see naked women. They want me to do like uh erotic sculptures, and I like doing those, but you got to find the right reference. It's a little bit difficult. And I sold those sculptures, which was good. Somebody likes erotic art too. Let me get my heat gun here. Just get this. Just kind of want to blend some of these forms together. You just see it melt. Look at that. I think one of the important things too is, on this is that there's a big difference between the jaw and then like this part. I'm actually like, I think I need a little bit more width here because I think their zygomatic is very large. Just put that there. If you do a lot of human portraits or human faces, you'll struggle like to do other sculptures. So, I try to do both. Humans are very difficult, and I think people really enjoy human sculptures. That's what, I do struggle with portraits, but I do want to do more of them. I went for live figure drawings for years, and then the model said she is going to model for a sculpture class, and the rest is history. I love the tactile feeling. Yeah, yeah. Once you start doing sculpture, it's like, oh yeah, it's a 3D drawing. It's really cool. But I've tried to set up classes around here for sculpture. There's no people want to do it, and then there's no like stands, there's no place for a model because you kind of have to have a model in 3D. You could put the model up against a uh, wall and then just get a turntable. But every place I've tried to teach a class or run a class or run an open drawing, they don't have the material, they don't have like the equipment needed, and it does need quite a bit if you want to do it well. On a table, it doesn't feel that good, but it is a last one way of doing it. Excuse me. Having the uh, the model on a stand, I do have one, and it is easy to make. But so I was talking to this school, and they don't pay me very well, but the classes are expensive, and it depends how many students I would get. I have taught sculpture before, but it's just not. There's not that much interest. I think people are either intimidated or they want to do ceramics because ceramics you can throw a pot and you can make something. But with sculpture, it requires a lot of knowledge of anatomy. Even when you're sculpting a chimp or a monkey or whatever, you have to kind of understand what's underneath. And I think a lot of students, they will try and they'll work on the surface level. And I've seen this. It's like they'll sculpt as if they were painting a surface. And I think for sculpture, you kind of have to understand what's underneath. I mean, there is no way around it. You have to have a really strong anatomical knowledge to kind of really understand things and to make things properly. Yeah, I wonder what the art scene is like in South Africa. Like, I've never really heard of art areas there. Sometimes I look to see what's around. I know, I'm from Portugal, and I've always been disappointed with the Portuguese art. They're very much into just abstract stuff. I'm like, that's not for me. That's not for me. It's like, nowadays, abstraction used to be pretty big. And then with technology, you would think that abstraction would be taken over the art form. But it's really not that. Abstraction is actually on the way out. Like nobody's interested in it until you get into the very high levels of art. And I actually assume it's more for money laundering than anything else because the public is not interested in it. But when you look at all the art that's being created, it's all figurative, it's all representational. And to me, it's mind boggling. You can be a really good artist these days and you can make a living just from YouTube, just from Patreon. And I know guys that do that. So, abstraction in Portugal in particular is like, why would anybody? I just don't get it. Not interested in it at all. And in Spain, they have quite a bit of really great artists. I do like the art scene in Spain more than in Portugal. Now, I wouldn't mind like going to Portugal and starting something, but yeah, I guess if there's no demand, of course, the number one figurative areas are actually Italy. Italy has got, I don't know why, but it's not Italians that are in Italy, like in Florence. They're mostly Americans that go to Florence, but they have really good schools. At least uh, it's a very strange way of drawing. It's like the site size. I might do that in the channel, just show you guys how to do site size in sculpture. It's what they do. I've never taken a class, but I've taken classes with site size for drawing, and it's a very robotic way of drawing, but it helps your eye out quite a bit. So I might have to do a, video on that. So I'm struggling to sell my art at the moment. I am just too scared to put. Yeah, I get it, but that's why you need to use a pseudonym. Don't use a real name. You'll make a whole lot more. Use a woman's name. I think a lot of people are more interested in women artists. They find that really cool, especially with the sculpture. I did a test. I won't say the name, but I used a girl's name and I did the same sculptures and I put it out there. And I got more interest than I ever got them from me doing sculpture. So I don't do that anymore, but I was just kind of curious. Yeah, the art world really is. I think as far as like when it comes to YouTube, people do like talent, but when it comes to selling artwork, it's all marketing. It really is. That's the reason a lot of abstract artists make a living at it. It's because it's about like who you know. But with classical art, if you don't have talent, it's obvious. So it's a little bit more difficult to make money from it. Like I've never been able to support myself as an artist, unfortunately. That's why like the channel took a hiatus for months. But I'm back. I'm doing stuff. I'm trying to. I'm telling you, it's hard to keep motivated when you're not making money and people aren't watching. But, that's never been my goal. I would give everything for talent. I would give all the money in the world. I would give up everything if I had like amazing talent. To me, that would be like the best. Yeah. So it's not money for me. I think I would love to make, you know what? I'm connecting the hair. This is going to hide a little bit of the zygomatic. I don't want to lose too much of the anatomy. This here, see, I use these metal tools to go in. Yeah, I would love to have artists near me that are passionate because if artists are together, they would feed off of each other. It's kind of like business people, they get ideas from each other. It's the same thing with artists. But all my life, artists have been, and for good reason, they keep to themselves. They they spend a lot of time alone. I think the only artists that you would see are teachers. And I've taught art before, and it's a really great way to improve it. If you want to get better at art, be a teacher. You just get so much better because you have to explain things, so you learn more. Yeah, it's marketing is just such a pain in the ass. I actually do marketing for other people, but I hate doing marketing for me. The one thing that does help me quite a bit is Chat GPT because I hate talking about myself. So when I come up with reference or come up with ideas for YouTube or come up with descriptions, I can just have them write it. And even biographies, I just run it through like Chat GPT and it fills in. I hate that. But marketing is important. I know a guy, a sculptor, and he's got money. So he hired a marketing person and they pay him very little. I think it's like $20 an hour or something like that. And basically his channel blew up because he has a marketing person. So when you have a marketing person full time, you are ahead of the game. You don't have to worry about doing that yourself. So if you have money, you can hire somebody and marketing people don't, I mean, the low end don't make very much money. So I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, like I have to do stuff on the side. But now it's quiet. Not even, I don't know what the economy is in South Africa for you, but here in the United States, it's terrible. And Trump tells me it's a great economy. I don't see it. I mean, Trump doesn't tell me personally, but I don't see it. All my friends, they're all struggling. The only people in my area that make money, I'm in the DC area. So the people that make money are federal employees. And, federal employees in this area, they make like $160,000 a year if they don't do anything. Yeah. So for that one person, they pay them and they do the social media. They basically put up Instagram posts. Instagram is really good. So if you want to get attention to your art, use Instagram, use TikTok. I really should do that, but I'm just like, I hate it. And for me, like just this stream that I have going, it's it's difficult to set up. But for me, it was difficult, and it just took me forever. before you said something, I had no idea that the volume was bad. So with this sort of clay, you can use these wire tools. These wire tools don't work too good with water clay. But in my area, like all the big wigs are just making tons of money, and they're all federal employees. I did some work for the wife of the secretary of the Navy. She was really nice, just housework. But man, she has so much money and she's nice. But I looked up the house that they bought on Redfin. It's like 11 million. And then they have like another one down the road. And then they have one in Florida that costs 30 million, like over 30 million. I just want some money. I don't need much money. I would love if I could just do this all day, just create stuff without the worry of having no money. That's the key for me. But then again, I would give everything away for pure talent. Your money sucks balls. Yeah. No, I think the rest of the world is up. Yeah, it seems like it, but everything's so expensive too. Yeah, with Instagram, every nudity, everything gets flagged. Even YouTube, I've gotten flagged so many times. The first stream I did, it got flagged for 18 and up, which is with good reason. But even the ones I don't show nudity and I show the sculpting, I get flagged. And I think that hurts your algorithm. Yeah, you should try TikTok. I haven't gotten around to TikTok. It's just another freaking thing I have to worry about. This is why you want a person to handle your marketing because it's a constant battle trying to learn the next technology. And really, like this one guy that does art and he's gotten much bigger, he just has a marketing person. When he does classes, they come and take photos, and he probably doesn't pay them. It's not even full time. I bet it's just like a temporary type of thing, but it's worked for him. But he comes from a wealthy family, and that's one thing I notice is that most artists, the ones I've ever met, they um, they come from wealth. If they don't have money, they have somebody funding them, usually their parents, sister, whatever. It's the story of Van Gogh too. Without Theo, Van Gogh's brother, we wouldn't have a Van Gogh. When you're able to create things without the fear of not having money, that's the trick. Honestly, if I could do this full time, I would go live back in Portugal. It's pleasant there. Right now it's 30 something degrees outside here. Ah, man, I'm just not into that. What is what's the dollar like in South Africa? Yeah, I should probably look it up. What's $1? Yeah, meat if it's good. Let me see. What is 100,000 K dollars in South Africa? So in South Africa, $100,000 is equivalent to 1,636,000 South African rand. I don't know. How far does that money go? So it feels more like 250,000 to 300,000. Wow. Man, that's crazy. For a single person, 100,000 savings could comfortably fund a high. Whoa, that's cool. $100,000 here is nothing. Jesus Christ. People make that per year for the government. It's so crazy. Like, my family in Portugal, they think, oh, yeah, he's making money. He's making so much money. But they don't realize that it costs so much money to live here and you don't really have great benefits. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this here. Nice, and I just wanna chop it up. Let me look at this monkey. Yeah, the dollar got weak. It got weak everywhere. In Europe, it's pretty pathetic. You go there, the dollar I think is 70 cents, 70 euro cents. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. It's like I go to Europe and it costs me so much money. You would think, oh yeah, I'd live like a king. I do have a house there, but it's falling apart. For a moment, I was like, all right, maybe I'll teach some classes in my house. But I live in a small, tiny little village in the middle of Portugal. You would have to like be in Lisbon in order to make that work. Yeah, I do wonder, like, artist scenes in South Africa. You guys have a lot of artists there? Oh, I can't. um, I don't know the language of the person. Is there a way to check out the language? Let me see. I think I have to go to YouTube. What's the language? Uh, I don't know this comment. Let me see. Google Translate. Sorry. I'm from Russia. I've been watching you for a long time. You're awesome. That's awesome. That's crazy. Ah, thank you. Um, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, thanks for watching, man. I really appreciate that. I can't believe you're from Russia. We got South Africa and Russia in the house. Man, Russia. Russia right now. I don't what's that like? That's I'm gonna sculpt this side here. I think I have to trim a little bit here. Yeah, you know, I'm from Europe as well, the other side of Russia, Portugal, and you don't see a lot of Russians anywhere in the western part. I've only seen Russians when I moved to the United States. I think I'm going to add a little bit more hair here. It's too depressed. Let me work on the transition here, but that's kind of crazy. I've had people from all over the world watch, and I think that's probably one of the things that motivates me to keep doing it. It's like, that's crazy. That's crazy that somebody's from South Africa and it's watching me. What time is it in South Africa? I think that's the problem with these streams. I'm like doing them too early. But also that would explain why I had people from Brazil. It's a time difference. Try to see. Yeah. So I kind of want the hair kind of like that. And then I'll do just a little bit more. This top part is not that important because no one's really going to see it. So I can kind of make it a little bit more abstract. But we do want to sculpt a little bit of the head or the behind the ears. Just not leave it like that. Post up in the comments what you think I should sculpt next. I just need some ideas. Right now, I don't have anything. I was thinking about doing like Angry D. Angry D is like a YouTuber. I was thinking about really just doing some more kind of quick sculptures. It'd be kind of cool to do a sculpture, kind of work with other YouTube channels. You have to forget art channels. People just don't work together well. I don't know why, but there's not a lot of artists that kind of bounce ideas back and forth. I tried. I tried to reach out to people, and it's just crazy. Like they're not interested at all. Not even like my friends that are artists. They're not interested. I was like, I wish it was a little different. Another thing I was thinking about doing was go to the zoo and do a video. I don't know if I can live stream and sculpt animals in person. That's a cool idea because people do sketching. I used to sketch in Philadelphia. I lived there for a year, and the zoo was set up so artists could sketch because Philadelphia, if you don't know, it's got a lot of really great art. The United States, as far as like, the country where I'm at, the East Coast, it's kind of ugly, but it's high in culture. So you have a lot of really great artists. It's just they're mostly like introverted. They're not into sharing the knowledge. There's some really great artists in this area, but like nobody knows each other. I know of them. All right, monkey. I think I'm going to add a little bit more hair like this on each side. And I think right here, I think this is going to be, I think I have to add dual screens in order for this to work. I'll have to figure out the best way to do these live streams. So while I'm working the bugs, this is kind of like what it looks like. The bugs of, yeah, I have to keep bouncing back and forth. There we go. Oh, he said something in Russian. I wish this would auto translate. I don't even know his name. Like it's just okay, translate that. It's a shame that the program can only be broadcast as a recording. What? It's not being broadcasted live? I think I'm live. That's interesting. It's not. Oh, that's strange. Yeah, it's not. Let me see. It's only being broadcast as a recording. Am I? How do I see? It says it's live though. Yeah. It says it's live. I'm not sure what's going on. It is a big time difference. I'm in the East Coast of the United States, so there is a big difference in time. I don't know. It's 21:23 or some towns there is a okay art community, and in others where I am, the artists don't want to get together. Hey, that's kind of like my area. My area is like that. You know, it's definitely the same thing here. Maybe I guess it's a complete new thing or a standard thing, but yeah, around here, people they keep to themselves. And then I look at areas like New York City and Phoenix, Arizona, and Colorado, like the state of Colorado, artists are much more open. They share. I wish it was like that here. Let me see if I can sculpt this bottom part. I think I do need a little fuzzy hair here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so this is colored in hair. So I'm going to add just a little like that. I don't want to add too much, but I just want to kind of indicate a little bit more. Let me get some of this. You know, where's a good community here that I found based on comments that I've gotten from this channel is Wisconsin. Of all the places, Wisconsin seems to have a really great art scene. And I was like looking at places there. I was like, it is way cheaper than here, but there is a downside. It's freaking cold, and I don't want to deal with more cold. Florida, that doesn't seem like a great place. California got some really good artists, but I think it's the same as here. Overly expensive. I guess I could like move to one of the peripheries. You know, the hair has to be like this. So I think I'm gonna repeat the sort of pattern down here, even though it might not be accurate. This way, it'll have some interest going towards like the wall. And I want these ends of the hair. And excuse me, one of the things you don't want to add while doing hair is actually strands of hair. You just want to clump it. Look for where the hair starts and where it ends. So even like this, I think it looks better. So just kind of do that. Put one here. You see like beginning and end. And with that, it just gives it a little bit more interest. Like that. And just want to add one more. So here, because these apes have a little fuzzy hair here, you can just take a little strand and just kind of do this, but don't lose that edge. And because we're doing 3D scanning, we want it to be just a little bit more prominent. That's better. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more, like one here. And now I'm going to take my heat gun. Takes a little second. This thing is so good for this type of clay. After that, we'll take my, it's a little tough this way, but look at this, the beauty of oil clay. That is like a huge advantage it has over water-based clay. Just want to do edges. I don't want to do round shapes. Oh, it's better. It's starting to look a little bit better. The more I work on it, the more realistic I can push it. But you know, my goal is really to do more of them, you know, finish them. Thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate it. One of these days I'll make it to South Africa, travel over there. Thanks for watching, man. Good night. So I'll just keep on struggling here. Hopefully we'll finish this thing soon. I do have earphones as well, but I don't hear anything in the chat. Like I don't hear anything's kind of happening. This really helps out. This would take forever with watercolor. Let me try using my wooden tools here. Yeah, look at that. You can kind of paint with it, but you don't want to leave it too smooth. I want to create those edges. Am I in the way? No. I think I'm going to don't want to add lines. So try to remove them. You might want to add the furrows in the nose a little bit deeper, but these lines, try not to think of lines when sculpting. It's more about the geometry. Yeah, I think it'll look good on a wall. See, by doing the hair like this, it creates a lot of interest, and you're not creating like the hairs, like the little individual hairs. Let me see. I have to work a little bit on the eyes. So I could create just a little bit more details. Let me see. Sometimes there's tools that do what I want. It's actually fun to do a live stream and talking to people while working. It's very cool. That actually made it fun. It made the time go by much quicker. A lot of times I listen to like podcasts, but when you have like back and forth, oh, yeah, it's just so much fun. It's kind of like when I go mountain biking. Mountain biking by yourself, boring. Mountain biking with your friends, that's awesome. I really hope that the live streams get bigger just because it gets more fun, I think, and it's more motivation. But I enjoy it. Just one person, it's not as intimidating. When I see guys with like thousands of people looking, I'm like, that's how do you even work? Aren't you anxious? I think I'm gonna take a little short break, 5 minute break, and I'll be right back. Let me put it on pause for a second. So grab a drink, and now we'll be back, guys. Let me see. I'll put it like this. Just gonna take a little bit of a break. Let me. got to finish this thing today. Got to finish. I'm using like a small mic this time, so hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. Let's think. Okay, that's a little bit better, so you can see the chat. Yeah, once in a while I have to check the messages by going to a different screen. All right, no messages. Let's see. So this part, we're going to have to actually kind of curve it backwards. And this tool should be able to scoop and move, scoop and move. Quite a bit of melt there, but that's okay.